In 1983, Granta published a list of the 20 best young British novelists. Ishiguro's first book had come out the year before. He was the youngest on the list.
The 1983 Granta Best of Young British Novelists was, of course, always spoken of then and indeed now as a list that launched careers, that put people on the front page. So in terms of a sort of literary debut, I mean, that's a pretty dream start.
Were you surprised to find yourself here on this list?
I felt peculiarly flattered and surprised that, somebody had thought I was one of the 20 best of young British authors of that day, particularly because I wasn't even British at the time.
That's right, you weren't really British at the time.
No, I only became British about a year later. I was still a Japanese citizen. But anyway, Salman Rushdie's Booker Prize win in 1981 for Midnight's Children was an absolute turning point.
Yes.
That was a signal that a substantial key core group within the reading public had declared that they were interested in reading books written by people apparently from the outside, about other societies, from a different perspective, not from a British perspective. Because I think something was happening in British society at that point, not just in the literary culture, but in the wider culture. People had suddenly moved on to a different era.
And then in 1983 you thought, oh, okay, fine, okay, I'll become a Brit.
Well, I mean, that wasn't a sudden thing. I wasn't able to go and live in Japan because I couldn't really speak the language very well. I didn't understand the society. And from the age of 5, I had nurtured this place called Japan that I was going to return to and live my real life in. And it was, I think, by the time I was 23, 24, I had realized that I wasn't going to do that. And I realized that actually that there was no such place as this Japan I had in my head. It was something that was a mixture of my memories, my very early childhood memories, just my speculation and my imagination. My project, the really important emotional project for me, was to get that Japan down before it disappeared.